Well, I'll tell you what, if you were going to start the classic like this, you'd be pretty damn happy about it. Oh, I'm stoked.
Around there,
He's 80. Oh no, 70, sorry.
79.
77. We're getting thrown around a fair bit here. Well, that's the fish there.
G'day guys, Nick Whyte here for another Sammy Hitzke fishing adventure. Commandeered Sammy's boat today, so we're going to go out and try and catch some real fish today. Let's get into it.
All eyes, all eyes. Look guys, you may go, geez, it's pretty late in the day, and that is correct.
I wonder why that is.
Because last night when we're making these plans to come for a flatty fish, Whitey's like, yeah, I'm keen, and then just total radio silence.
Someone's got to have a sleep.
So I got all the way down to a different boat ramp. Whitey calls me and goes, oh, are you coming or what? Another 40 minutes back up the highway to pick up Whitey, and we're back on the water. But today is a very exciting, well, it's exciting at this stage because the day is yet to unfold, but we are going flathead fishing in the deep. Now, Nick Whyte here is probably one of the best deep water flathead fishermen in all of Queensland, nay Australia.
Depends what day it is.
It depends on the day, but he's going to show us some tips and tricks on how to do it, and hopefully we're going to wrestle with some alligators while we're here. I'd love to see a big shovel get into the boat, but we've got a few miles to cover. We've got a bit of a favourable tide coming up shortly, so we're going to get down to where we need to go, and yeah, it should be a good opportunity for you guys to learn some tips and tricks from the king. I'm just going to be commentating and buddy watching.
Righto.
Here we go.
Let's see it.
Oh, well, I haven't even got a rod in the water. Oh, it's a biggie. Oh, it's good fish. Hang on, got to get the net. Whitey, talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, mate, just drop down.
Hang on.
Do you want to get that net ready?
Oh, here, talk to the camera.
Yeah, well, just drop down, and now we've got this. Ooh, hang on. Nice little 60. So, yeah, no, good start in the morning, Samuel.
Pretty sure it's a flatty?
Pretty sure it's a flatty, Sam. Oh, now he wants to play up.
He loves this.
Oh,
Loves to spin.
he's on the death roll.
Give us this. Try and make some footage, Whitey.
We're trying to fish and film and not doing either successfully.
There we go. Well, that was quick. Don't mind the mic there hanging down. There you go, mate.
Yeah.
Deal with that, and we'll come. We'll get a little shot and a few words. Words. Well, it's not a bad start to the day, that one. So I haven't told Whitey this, but what are we going to try and aim for today, score-wise?
Oh,
I'm
happy to catch one fish, mate.
I'm all about scores. I want to crack it. I've never cracked. Well, I cracked one day in pre-fish last year. I cracked 1,300 points for myself. Never repeated it. Do you reckon we can crack 1,000 points today?
We're off to a good start.
We're off to a good start. So this one here is 63.
115 points.
115 points. That's the first drift, mate.
Oh, he's 62.
62.
Oh no, 63.
63. We're happy with 63. Now that one there came on a white paddle tail.
5-inch minnows. Getting a fish like that in the first 5 minutes, mate, you're happy any day you go fishing, let alone in a comp. But yeah,
Smack that plastic too.
yeah, nice solid bite. So we'll get him back and hopefully get a couple more. You fish in the deep. This is your average size fish you're going to catch. So you're dealing with a much bigger average size than what you get usually fishing the flats. So yeah, he's a good one to start the day anyway.
Might put that hook out for you. Geez, he wanted it.
There we go, eh? There he goes.
Danny.
Cruises off to the deep again.
Nice, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
Now, I feel like now is a good time to mention this. The last 2 times in a row I've been flathead fishing with Whitey. He's pulled a cracker and I have not. So I'm hoping he's going to let me have a crack today. I feel like something over 70.
As long as they're coming in the boat, mate. Doesn't matter who catches them.
I think it's my turn. Last time we were here, and you'll see this footage coming up very soon. Just putting the rest of the video together. It's going to be absolutely epic. This man right here pulled a 95 on a glide bait in about a metre of water, and it's all on camera. So you're going to have to hold your breath and wait for that one, because it's going to be, without swearing, pretty cool.
Let's see if we can do it again today.
Well, we're going to do it again today too. Just more footage, banking it up. All right, so Whitey's gone for the paddle tail. I've gone for the big curly tail. Bit of scent on there.
Gone for the scent with the plastic on it.
Bit of scent can't hurt. Bit of scent can't hurt.
Keep that thing away from me.
Now, we're going to get into techniques a bit later on. We're going to go a bit of a full run through, get Nick's take on how it all works, so you guys can take something away from this video apart from watching us smack fish, hopefully. But with the two styles of plastic, Whitey, what's your difference in technique? Do you just go through the playbook with both styles, or?
Oh, mate, I always prefer to fish a paddle tail, just purely, and curl tail grubs are good as well, but just a plastic that has a built-in action. I'm a pretty lazy fisherman, so if the lure can do all the work, it saves you from doing it all. So yeah, I don't fish many jerk shad style lures, all paddle tails mainly, and then yeah, a few grubs at times.
But paddle tail would be your choice if you had one lure to start off with?
Yeah.
And when you're letting that get to the bottom, are you just keeping contact, giving it a couple of little flicks there, and or little nib?
Yeah, basically just making sure you're getting to the bottom and then just hopping it up. Yeah, it's Sammy.
I just thought I'd come up and join you up here in the big stage. See if I can find this tree that I know is down here.
It doesn't help being top heavy doing this sort of fishing, mate.
So I cut you off there, back to retrieves. You're just giving it little flicks, just keeping in contact,
yeah,
feeling for that nib.
Like obviously with the flathead, majority of the time they're sitting on the bottom waiting for the prey to come, or the bait to come to them. So keeping that lure in front of their face as often as possible is the best way to go.
Well, I'm about to show you how big flathead get.
And I suppose my biggest fish would be fish it nice and slow.
Yes. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's a good fish. So that fish there, I pretty well talked my way into it, that one, but it just clunked it. Oh, it's a nice fish, and that's I think that's a 9-inch 9-inch plastic, and that's down its gob.
Oh, Sammy, what are you doing?
I can't see that plastic anymore, which makes me a bit nervous.
It's not compact anymore, so it doesn't matter, mate. Should back your drag off, make it a bit more exciting.
I just listen to him. Listen to him. I only got 12-pound leader on.
Oh, mate, well, hurry up and get him in, or you'll pull through it.
What lead are you using the deep? Oh, I'm 2 pounds short. Oh, that didn't feel nice.
Get over these waves.
There's a... You ripper, that's a buddy. That's a stonker.
He'd be 75. Nice job, brother.
Yes! Well, I'll tell you what, if you were going to start the classic like this, you'd be pretty damn happy about it. Oh, I'm stoked. Well, we can go home now. Home for tea and scones. We're not going to tell you how we do it. No, nothing like that. We're just going to call it a quit. 2-minute video. Job done.
Around there,
He's 80. Oh no, 70, sorry.
79.
77. So these cradles, guys, I had a few people ask me about them. It's just a half a pipe with a bit of wood on the end. You can make your own up pretty easily. They're really awesome for this sort of thing because you can just let the fish in there. They kind of relax, supports them. You can get an accurate measurement, no worries. But that fish is 77.5 centimeters. That is an absolute cracker. I'm stoked with that. I might even get myself a little picky. And you can see that plastic was, oh, it's a 9-inch curl tail grub, that one. And it is down the hatch. That is right down his hatch. Oh, easy there, champion. Need a set of pliers for this. Just going to give this fish a drink while we get ready for a photo. Black bag, yeah. We're getting thrown around a fair bit here. Well, that's the fish there. We cut the leader on the plastic while we were trying to unhook him. Cracker, 70, what did we say, 77? Yeah. 77.
See you next year.
Well, hopefully. So these big girls, sometimes they need a bit of a swim to revive them. You want to make sure they're in tip-top condition and don't just roll and float away. So once you see them start, oh, we're getting thrown around here. Righto, big girl. She's ready to go.
There she goes, look at that. That's epic.
That's 2 and 2 drifts.
Well done.
Could be good here.
You move this way. Is this real life?
Mate, I just turned that camera on and Whitey's onto another one. I don't think it's
Oh, probably 50. Oh, he might. 55.
You on the net? We'll net him. We'll net him. Ah! Oh, you're on?
Didn't get the hook, so that was good.
Mate, talk to the camera. What just happened?
Oh, I lost him. Nah, I think that was first cast after your fish and just had another 55 to the boat, so...
Yeah, in a classic, you wouldn't rush it like that, would you?
No, definitely not. The points don't count today, mate, so it doesn't matter.
Well, we're on a few.
Yeah, it's good.
1,000.
We're already... Well, that'd pretty much put us on, what, 115, and then yours would have been 185. So that's 300, plus that one would have been close to 100, so there's 400 points. And we've been here for, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's good. Let's go for 1,000.
What?
Just
Haven't caught one in 5 minutes. Nah, fish. Oh, it's big. Yep. Oh, there's some weight behind this one. Yeah, it's big. Oh, it's real big. This is a cracker.
with a head shake there, Sammy.
Look at it.
Donkey. See you lure or not?
Yeah.
She's an 80. She might be a 90. That is a crocodile. It's getting bigger and
Oh no! No!
oh,
Oh!
that was a donkey.
Oh no!
That was a 90, I reckon.
Oh! That fish there just left me with this plastic. That was,
Broken hearts.
and a broken heart. That was a big fish. Oh, I just spat it out like nobody's business. Oh!
Just getting bigger and bigger. As
That was a wide fish. Oh no. Oh, how did it? It was in its mouth. It must have just been sitting on its teeth. Didn't whack it hard enough or something. Oh, that sucks.
that was a big one.
No. That's pretty hard to take. We saw it at least. That's the main thing. Time
Still doesn't count.
doesn't count. Time for a new plastic. Fish? Oh, Whitey's on. Good one?
Oh, it's not big.
We might net this. Oh, you can lift him.
He's a side hooker.
Just your classic side hook, flatty.
She's a pearler.
But just goes to show that's a 5-inch plastic, and that's a bloody 10-inch fish. So even the small ones, if you're worried about not bloody having a shot at all size fish, that one is a pretty good example of just how aggressive flatty can be when they're in the mood. Oh, I'll get him for you, mate.
Yeah, thanks. Grab that lure too.
Hey? What's that for? Are we claiming your 50? We're claiming your 50.
Yeah, we will.
Nib? You getting hit then?
Must be
like a brim or something.
That's fine. What you saw before. Oh, say that again.
They're Taylor.
Oh, you lost your big boy.
Well, that's what happens. School of Taylor or something down there, and I just got bitten off. That's pretty underwhelming. Re-rig. Well, we've just made a bit of a change. We've moved into the pin bar now. We're at the Kalinga bank to start off with. We've got a couple of nice fish. There was a bit of a bite there, and we had 2 really good drifts of fish, and then it kind of shut down a bit. So we've changed spots. We're going to do a few drifts along here. Oh, that would have been perfect timing. Would have been perfect timing. Yeah, hopefully I can find that that fish that I lost before. So Whitey's seen a few 90s caught, and he's calling that for 90 or 90 plus?
I reckon it was 90 plus. Yeah, it was a good fish.
90 plus. That stings. Well, you might remember from last video, it's Justin and Ashton. You didn't even change shirt. It's the lucky shirt. The Mojo shirt. Say again? You don't know which day I caught. Ah, true. Tactics. Well, we're back at Kalinga.
Tree there. A little bit to your right.
Yeah, that's the one I hooked before. Back at Kalinga. Pin bar didn't fire, so we're going to see if the fish that we were hooking before, if there's any more of them, and if they're going to fire.
Just getting that slow drift. Yep.
And that's a snag for me, but Whitey's on.
Not a bad one.
Not a bad one. Net job.
Oh, yeah.
See, a bit cranky at you. Oh.
Oh, a little crocodile.
Oh. Oh, that's bigger than it looks.
And it fell out. Little rev head, doesn't damage.
Show us that lure real quick. Secret, can't show you. There you go, little blade on it. A little bit of extra flash, and yeah.
That's the job.
Well, look, that's got to be 80 something. All right, have a go at that. Croctober.
Yeah, not a bad fish. 83.
83. Now, how many points is that? That's a lot of points in one fish.
I think it's about 220 odd.
That is a absolute horse. Good length to it. Give us a look at that head. And that's where the bloody plastics go. It's the last thing they see. Nice fish, mate.
Yeah, cheers, bro.
Cracker. And away she goes.
Yeah, good.
You're on some points now, mate.
Yeah, no, it's good. Nice to had a bit of a quiet spell there. Maybe get a couple, or getting one more in the boat. So
if you're going to get one more, you may as well make it an 83.
Yeah, quality always counts, doesn't it?
Always. Didn't even have time to get the camera back on and rolling. Very next cast, and Whitey's got another
Little fella.
just a little tick. He'd be what, 50s?
He'd be 55 probably.
55. Tell you what,
A bit bigger actually.
if you're ever going to keep one for a feed, it'd be that one.
He doesn't want to get out of the net.
Exactly what we might do with him. Or live well him. On that secret plastic. Is that your favourite colour too?
Sexy mullet, mate. What did I tell you when I pulled it out?
Sexy mullet.
I said, once this comes out, you're in trouble.
I'm already in trouble, losing 90s at the boat. Give us a look at him.
Meal of that.
You had a go at it.
Yeah.
He's feisty.
He actually played up more than that 80s. I just caught.
Nah,
He'd
nicely
be-
done.
Yeah, mid 50s, not a bad fish.
Nice, mate. Well, I thought I had the camera rolling, but I didn't. Added a 49 to the tally. He's chilling in the live well. He's in there. Just having a little chill. I got that one on the curl tail again. Same spot. Tweak. Thought I had it all on camera. Turns out I turned it off when I should have been turning it on. Sorry, my bad. Cleaning up other people's rubbish. There's no GTs here, mate. There's no GTs here.
Is there fish here?
Yeah. Well, there was. Yeah. Well, guys, quick update. Savage Gear prawn packaging also doubles as a spoon when you forget one. Just trying to have a bit of brekkie. Look, it's not great. It's not good, but it's getting the job done just. Right, big yogurt on the side of the face. Good. You been what? Oh. Fishing? Is that a fish? Oh, Struth. What he's on. Did you pull that fish out of a bigger fish's mouth? He had a real go. He's a net dodger. This is the hardest flathead I've ever seen. Nicely done, mate. Well, he's a scorer at least.
He's not a massive fish.
Oh, it's wrapped around his head, that's what.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So that fish there has swallowed the lure so hard and fast it's come out the back and hooked him in the side. That is that's an aggressive eat.
Crazy.
And out his mouth. Quick measure. Just see what we're dealing with here. 43. I'll see your 43 and raise your 47. Good points, good points. Big release. See you, mate. Got him. Got him. He's talked himself into it too. Is he a netter or a lifter? 45. Measure him.
What were you saying about that lure, Sammy?
I said that lure looks like it would get eaten pretty soon.
Yes, I think that's exactly what you said.
Jeez, he didn't miss it. It's right down his golden.
Yeah, he's gulped. He's gulped it. Jeez, he has. What do you call him for, Sammy?
I reckon 49. 45.
46.
47.
47.
47, so there's points there. We're edging closer. We're one big fish away.
Or a couple little ones.
Yeah, or we just keep going catching 40s. So, Mott, where's your mum? Whitey, he's on. He's a scorer.
The other one was pretty good.
Oh, that was a fake hit too. Measure him and then come back up the front. I'm on the lecky, can't help you. 43. 43. White Z-Man, there's been a lure change.
Yeah. New big eyes jig head.
Big eyes jig head. Give us a look at it, close up. And do you find the eyes help?
I love the eyes, mate.
All in the eyes for you?
Yeah. I even glue eyes onto me headlocks, jig heads and everything like that.
So do I, so do I. I reckon it makes them look a lot more realistic, and if anything it makes me fishing more confidently. Even if that doesn't make a difference, I feel like it does, and that helps.
Lead up to the news. That's sick. He's trying to take it off. Holy fuck.
Oh, it's kind of a fish. No. Nah. Trust me, mate, I'm dialed in on my 39s. Well, At least we got one to nibble. Come on, mate. Easy does it. Easy does it. That's textbook. Well, he's too small. He felt like just a bit heavier than the jig head.
Yeah, right.
Shrimpy boy coming through with the goods and a tough bite. I don't know if that's what you'd really call goods, but I'll take it. Oh, yep. Feels alright. Is that a fish? Oh no.
Oh, shrimpy boy.
Shrimpy boy.
Maybe.
I reckon 50, 49. Righto, mate. How long are you? Easy there, easy. Oh, he might go the fid. Yep. So that's a 50, 51. Oh, he's in the 52. 51 and a bit, so he's 73 points. So I think we're well and truly over 1,000, aren't we?
Yeah.
Excellent. There you go, mate. See ya.
Southerlies. 30, 25
That's 3 and 3 casts for the shrimp.
I'm not a net.
I don't. He might. He'll go 40, I think.
Yeah, that one.
Maybe. 3 and 3 casts. Yeah, he's 40 and a half. 40 and a half, so that's 40 points. See you, mate.
Rightio guys, well it is that time of the day. We're going to do some theory. I did promise you we'd get some secrets out of the big man. As you can see by the tally of fish we put together today, we did pretty well. Some really nice fish in there. Notable mention to Whitey's 83. The big girl I lost, I got a 77, and Whitey lost another one at the boat while I was dicking around trying to get the net. So we had our chances. We caught plenty of fish, plenty of medium-sized fish, but just goes to show when you got good help, you can put some fish on the board. So we're gonna, I'm gonna probe Whitey. ... for a few questions. Mate, we're fishing the deep for flathead, so all day we didn't do much flats fishing at all today. It was all deep water flathead. So what would you define as like a deep water flathead depth?
Oh, look, you can catch flathead anywhere, like from up on the flats, obviously, you know, in a foot of water, or 100 mil of water, all the way down to 60, 70 foot out in the Pin Bar. So, yeah, look, a lot of the water we fished today, we would have been in, 10 sort of metres, so 30, around that 30 to 40 foot.
Yep.
We did pull fish off edges as well, but yeah, predominantly fishing that, probably 30 foot, around that 30 foot mark.
So fishing those kind of depths, you probably would have noticed, guys, that we use some pretty substantial sized plastics. So up on the flats, you can use really big plastics and they do work well, particularly on the bigger fish. But in the deep, I feel like you rarely use those smaller profiles. I was using a 9-inch grub pretty well the whole day. Whitey's picked out a couple of his favourites. What's the smallest lure you'd throw in the deep?
Look, probably the Vibe would be the smallest lure I throw.
Yep.
Like I've got a saying, small lures catch all fish, big lures catch big fish. So predominantly the fish that you're targeting in the deep, the average size would be 60 centimetres. So you're targeting, fish 70, 80, their mouths are quite big, so they're going to be able to fit a big lure in their mouth. You want something that's going to obviously create a bit of water movement, so I like fishing with vibration lures or big paddle tails, and that's a 5-inch diesel minnow. It's got a really good tail action, really good beat to the tail, but having that bigger profile will get the attention of those bigger fish as well.
Yeah. So you know, that's 5 inches. There's shrimp I was using towards the end of the video. That's 120 mil. I'll just grab the grub I was using. That's the Savage Gear grub I was using. So you can see that's a fair profile plastic. And like to us, you fish up on the flats, you go, that's a big lure. And you would have seen that 78 centimetre fish, or 77 centimetre fish I got, that was right down his mouth. So they've got no dramas taking on a big lure like that, a big profile, and scoffing it right down. You'd be surprised what they can fit in their mouth when they're in the mood. They'll absolutely smash it. So don't be afraid to use big lures.
Sometimes you'll still get them on those smaller baits.
Yeah, 100%.
One of my favourite lures is probably the 5-inch paddlers. So it's still a 5-inch lure, but it's a lot slimmer profile. A lot better to sink down in deep water too. So you got to think about that when choosing your jig head weight. Bigger lures with a bigger paddle tail, they're going to obviously have a slower sink rate. So using a jig head that little bit bigger size up to get that bigger lure down to the bottom.
Speaking of jig heads, righto, let's talk about jig heads. So we're fishing in quite deep water, probably between 5 and that 10, 12, probably up to 14 metres. Where would you start your jig head?
So probably 1/2 ounce is a good place to start. And when you learn how to finesse a lure, you can fish it pretty light. Like you can use that 1/2 ounce in 60 foot of water, but it is quite hard to get that feel. So usually when you're starting out fishing the deep, I always say start heavier and work back lighter. You know, a lot of people say on the banks you start lighter and work heavier, but yeah, in the deep I always say start heavy, get that feel for the bottom, and then you can sort of back that jig head weight off.
So the most critical thing I've found is you've got to have contact with the bottom. That lure's got to be making contact with the bottom. So one, you know you're down there in that strike zone. Those flatties, generally they're feeding from the bottom. They'll be sitting there looking to ambush. So you want that plastic to make contact with the bottom, and then you jig from there. Another one is if you're not on the bottom or you're not making constant contact with the bottom, chances are your lure's way back there and you've been free spooling out and drifting back with the current. So every time you hit the bottom, you know where that lure is, exactly where it is, and you can lift it back up, and that helps you to avoid snags, helps you to kind of figure out what your drift is doing, and it gives you a lot better chance of hooking those fish when they hit it, they grab onto it, you've pretty well got direct contact and you can give them a hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Righto, some jig heads that you like. I know that one's a new one from TT.
That's one of the new ones. So that's a TT Big Eyes. I love it, an eye on a jig head, and you can see there that's a headlocks that I've actually put some powder paint on and glued my own eyes on it. So I love, especially when putting on lures that don't have a built-in eye. So you put that on, it gives the lure a little bit bigger profile, and obviously just gives them a head to zone in on to make that bite. So
yeah, I subscribe to the eye theory as well. I love an eye. I put a heap of eyes on my jig heads for the Flatty Classic as well. Now that crazy contraption got you 83 today. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, so this is a rev heads. So basically you've got a spinning blade on the bottom. I think the one I was using earlier had a willow blade on it. Yep. This is a Colorado blade. But obviously just adds a little bit of extra flash. Also movement in the lure as well, so it gets that vibration in the water. Yeah, look, it's definitely something that, you know, I don't know if it makes a massive difference, but it the proof was in the pudding there this morning. I think, you know, we've got 3 or 4 fish on it pretty much straight away. I think it was 3 in 4 casts or something like that.
It might just be that one little factor. It might be something different. If you've worked an area with a lure before, you could put something like that through there, and it's just a different profile, different flash, and it might just be enough to get them to open their mouth. Another jig head that I've only just started using today that Justin put me onto, you would have seen it, Justin, in the last, actually you would have seen him this morning, is this football style head. So the theory behind that is they sit down like that and they don't roll onto their side.
They're really good for working down ledges.
Yeah, so they just bounce down. They don't really. Yeah. I found it pretty snag resistant. Obviously trees really do a number on them, but in terms of coffee rock and that sort of thing, I found it pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'll be using them again. Hooked that 90 on it. Hooked all my fish on actually the football head today. So yeah.
What do you mean hooked that 90?
Oh well, I hooked him. I just didn't continue to hook him.
The hook fell out.
Right, so that's plastics. Now, I guess the next thing is what you tie your plastic to. So let's talk about outfits. Let's talk about your combo first, and then we'll go from there.
So fishing the deep, I choose to run a heavier outfit. So because you're running, you know, a bigger average size fish, but you're also fishing harder running water and using bigger lures. So it's not like your flats rod where you want a big, long, sort of soft rod. You want something that's got a bit more ballsy. You want some grunt down low. This is a 8 to 14 pound rod. It's quite a fast action rod. I like something with a really fast tip, so as soon as you get that bite you can load it up. Yeah, I run, all my rods are probably between, I suppose, 17 to 22 pound braid, and then with leader I fish a little bit lighter with leader, around that 14, sort of 12 to 20, depending on the lure I'm using and the sort of country you're fishing. But you want to fish that little bit heavier, because when you are getting snags you've got a lot better option, or a lot better chance of getting them back off. So
yeah, particularly in these more heavier fished areas, a lot of the snags aren't, you're not actually hooking the snag itself, you're hooking other people's line that have snagged that time and time again before you. So a lot of times if you hook up on light gear, you're just going to ping it off and go to snag. Quite often in those high traffic areas, you can, if you hook them with a bit of grunt in your outfit, you can actually snap all that line, and sometimes you end up bringing a whole nest of line up with you, or someone else's plastic, all sorts of stuff. There's also the bycatch factor. Out here you got a chance of hooking, it might be a 70 centimetre jew, or it might be a 70 pound jew. It's one of those things. It's big fish area, so you kind of got to bring a knife to a knife fight in that respect. Bring a sword to a knife fight. Yeah. Oh, that's a better one. And he's got that rigged with a 3000 size reel. I got very similar. I was running a bit lighter braid. I think that's 12 pound, but it's Power Pro, so that breaks at probably 90 or 100 pound. And I was running 12 pound leader. You were running 14. Didn't get any fish sawn off today, but yeah, you can, with that lighter leader, you do have to be careful. If a big girl sucks it down, then getting sawn off is possible. What else can we talk about? Electric motor. I don't know how much of the positioning you'll see in the video, but one thing from behind the scenes is Nick was always on the electric motor. We were swapping between remotes. Someone would bust off a snag, be rigging, and the other person would take the remote. How key is electric motor to this style of fishing?
Yeah, I suppose without your electric motor you wouldn't be able to do it. You need to be, like Sammy touched on, in contact with your lure all the time. As soon as you start getting too much angle in that line, the lure's going to be too far away from the boat. You're going to have water pressure and different factors that are going to affect the way your lure sinks, but also the feel you're going to get. So if you don't feel that bite, those flathead can shake it out before you even know that you've hooked a fish. So yeah, staying in contact, and a lot of the time you can even start judging what sort of mood the fish are in just by the way that it clunks that lure. So you get those really aggressive hits. Sometimes it nearly rips that rod out of your hand.
It really transmits up the rod, or the other ones you just go to jig it and you're on. They've literally just come and just grabbed it, and you're just pinning them that way.
And you, like we saw today in that northerly wind, you get that, they're a lot more timid of a bite, and I think you even tried to shake one off there.
I thought it was the bottom, like literally no subtle tick or pluck or whatever you call it at all, just going and jig my lure. I thought it was kind of making contact with the bottom, so I tried to shake it off, and over whatever lump it was, turned out to be a fish. So
it was only a little one.
It was only a little one.
But those fish this morning, they were coming out and clunking. It was,
when we got here straight up, it was a really solid hit. So what you get out of that is, if you've got the room or the space for an electric motor, definitely look at getting one if you're going to attack this style of fishing. If you do have one, make sure you're familiar with how it works, and get yourself a remote or a foot pedal, whichever you feel more comfortable doing, and kind of put yourself in the right position. That's what they're there for. It's a positioning motor, so make sure you're in wherever you want to be. Just keep on it, even if you do have to kind of constantly adjust. So with the electric motor, a lot of the times you're fighting the wind. The other thing you're fighting is the tide. What's your favourite tides for this style of fishing? I noticed today we pretty well went through the whole tide. Was that the standard thing for you? You'd fish out here through any sort of condition?
Look, you can catch fish at all tides. You just got to fish the areas, I suppose, that fish better at different tides, which you're going to find in some parts through the tide that water's going to be running way too hard, and sometimes you can be drifting at 5 or 6 knots, and for me I think that's too fast. The fish are really, when the water is moving quick, the best thing about it, the fish make that reaction bite.
Yeah, so just see it go and bang.
Yeah, when that tide slows down, you've got to really improve your presentation a lot, and that's where I think things like the eyes and stuff like that make a big difference. But in that hard running water, I think that's why the bigger profile of the lure makes a big difference because it's something they can visually see a lot better. So, you know, this morning we got better fish when that tide was, we had that cleaner water too. So you want to try and fish like reasonably clean water. Even on the bottom of the tide today, it was still reasonably clean, but yeah, look for those areas that have the cleanest water. So.
And then, you know, on your turns of the tide as well, you're going to have it's going to be a bit easier to track your lure. So I guess if you're starting out, maybe focus around your slack tides just till you get the feel of what your lure feels like when it's contacting the bottom. And then, you know, then you can start to implement that throughout the full stages of the time when it gets a bit trickier, when that tide's really ripping through and you really got to be paying attention to where that lure is. Otherwise, you're just going to end up emptying your tackle box out. Well, I guess the other thing to touch on before we sign off, sounder. How important is having a good quality sounder, like particularly the side imaging for this style
a massive
fishing?
Difference. You know, knowing what's under your boat and what you're targeting is a big thing. So it's no use fishing, you know, barren sand if there's no bait there and nothing to hold the fish. So looking for structure like rubble bottom, trees, looking for little ledges even. So knowing where the ledges are positioned. Like me and Sammy joking around today, like a lot of the trees along here I nearly know, you know, just off line of sight on the bank, because I do fish these sort of areas quite a bit. I know, like on my sounder, I've got everything marked out. I use my waypoints quite a lot, and knowing where to position the boat to get those fish, you know, it's the difference between sometimes catching fish and not, you know, and you can have guys fishing beside you not catching fish and you can be banging one after another if you're fishing the right structure.
Well, we're not trying to avoid the snags per se, are we? We're trying to, like, a lot of the times the fish will sit near them.
You want to fish around them,
yeah,
but you don't want to get snags.
Yeah, then that's where having your electronics and being able to understand it,
yeah,
is key.
And having that good feel, you know, through your lure, you know, knowing when you are on the bottom and where the snags are and lifting your lures over the top.
Yep.
A lot of the time on that drop back in behind them is when you get clunks from the fish. So.
Well, there you go. Well, that's a pretty priceless insight into probably one of the best deep water flathead anglers in southeast Queensland. Now, one thing I will do is let Nick give himself a bit of a plug, because he actually does this for a business. If you found anything we've talked about today useful, Nick actually does fishing coaching and sounder tutorials out on the water. So he'll actually come out with you on your boat and show you how to use your electronics, make sure it's set up correctly, and also show you how to get onto a few fish. So anything to add on that?
Oh yeah, well, check out my Tech Fishing Facebook page or go to my website. So there's a bit of stuff up on there through the blog and stuff as well on there, so go and check that out. But yeah, by all means, give us a call. Basically customise the session to suit your requirements, so you can ring me, speak to me about, you know, wanting to target different species or doing different style of fishing, or it might just be you want to get a bit of a run through and learn how to maximise your use of your sounder. So yeah, check out the Facebook page and the website, and yeah, you'll get plenty of info there.
I'll put all the Nick's contact details, I'll put them all in the description below. So if you do want to have a chat with Nick and see what he can do for you, then give him a call or check him out on the website. One thing I will add, it's not just for southeast Queensland. Nick actually does sessions all over the east coast and probably soon to be Australia. So even if you are somewhere a little bit more remote than the Gold Coast, give him a call and find out when he's going to be in your area, and you'll be able to show you some tips and tricks of the trade. And as you see today, it actually worked a damn treat. Well, mate, thanks for coming out. Thanks for showing us the ropes.
Thanks for having us.
Guys, hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a few things. As always, like, comment, subscribe. All Nick's details will be below. And until next week, guys, I will see you out in the water. If not, hope you're getting a few. Catch you later.